Welcome. Join us as we improve your English through the power of storytelling. Each story is carefully crafted to help you learn new words and enjoy the journey of language learning. Today's story is called The Carpenter Gift. First, enjoy the complete story without interruption. Then, stay until the end, where we will review important vocabulary words from the story together. You will learn the pronunciation, meaning, and how to use each word in sentences. Now, sit back, relax, and let's begin the story. The Carpenter Gift. In a bustling city, there lived a master carpenter named Robert, who had built a successful business over 40 years. He owned the largest workshop in town, employed 20 skilled workers, and had contracts with wealthy clients all over the region. Everyone knew Robert's furniture lasted for generations. His chairs never wobbled, his tables never warped, his craftsmanship was legendary. But Robert had a problem. He was 65 years old, tired, and ready to retire. He wanted to travel with his wife, spend time with his grandchildren, and enjoy the money he had worked so hard to earn. There was just one obstacle. He needed someone to take over his business. Robert called his most senior employee, a man named Marcus, into his office. Marcus had worked for Robert for 20 years. He was skilled, reliable, and knew every aspect of the business. "Marcus," Robert said, "I'm ready to retire. I want you to take over the company. But first, I need you to complete one final project for me. Build me a house. I've purchased land on the hill overlooking the city. I want you to build a beautiful home where my wife and I can spend our retirement years. This will be your final test. Build me the finest house you've ever built, and the company is yours." Marcus was thrilled. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. But then a thought crept into his mind. Robert was retiring. He would never build another house. This was Marcus's chance to finally make some real money for himself. "Why should I waste expensive materials on Robert's house?" Marcus thought. "He's giving me the company anyway. I can use cheaper materials, cut corners here and there, and pocket the difference. Robert will never know. He doesn't understand construction like I do." So Marcus began building the house, but his heart wasn't in his work. Where he should have used solid oak beams, he used cheaper pine. Where the plans called for copper pipes, he installed basic plastic ones. He hired the least expensive subcontractors instead of the skilled workers he usually trusted. He rushed through details that should have taken time and care. When Robert visited the construction site, Marcus put on a good show. He pointed out impressive features and used technical language to make everything sound perfect. Robert, who had spent his life working with wood and furniture, not houses, trusted Marcus completely. He smiled and nodded, proud that his protégé was handling such an important project. The house was completed in record time. Marcus had managed to finish it 3 months ahead of schedule, and had secretly saved nearly $30,000 by cutting corners throughout the construction. On the day of the final inspection, Marcus felt nervous for the first time. The house looked beautiful from the outside. The paint gleamed. The windows sparkled. The landscaping was perfect. But Marcus knew the truth about what lay beneath that attractive exterior. He knew about the cheap materials, the shortcuts, the shoddy workmanship hidden behind the walls. Robert arrived with his wife to see the finished house. They walked through every room. Robert ran his hands along the walls, opened and closed the doors, tested the windows. His wife admired the kitchen, the spacious bedrooms, the beautiful fireplace in the living room. When they finished the tour, they returned to the front entrance where Marcus was waiting anxiously. Robert looked at Marcus with an expression that was hard to read. "Marcus," Robert said slowly, "you finished ahead of schedule. The house looks wonderful." Marcus felt a wave of relief wash over him. He had gotten away with it. The company would be his, and he had $30,000 hidden away. Then Robert reached into his pocket and pulled out a set of keys. He held them out toward Marcus. "These keys are yours," Robert said. Marcus looked confused. "I don't understand. These are the keys to the house." "They're your keys." Robert shook his head. "No, Marcus, they're your keys. This house is my gift to you. I was never going to retire here. I bought this land for you and your family. I wanted you to build your own dream house, the finest house you were capable of building. This was never a test of your skills for my benefit. It was an opportunity for you to create something wonderful for yourself. The house you built is the house you'll live in. The company has been yours for the past month. I already signed the papers." Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. The keys suddenly felt impossibly heavy in his hand. He looked at the beautiful house standing before him and saw it with completely different eyes. Every corner he had cut, every cheap material he had used, every shortcut he had taken, he had done it all to himself. He thought about the oak beams he had replaced with pine, beams that would start to sag in a few years. He thought about the plastic pipes that would need replacing long before copper ones would have. He thought about the roof that he knew wouldn't last through 10 hard winters because he had used substandard shingles. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. "Robert, I have to tell you something," he began, his voice shaking. Robert held up his hand. "You don't have to tell me anything, Marcus. We both know what kind of house you built. You made your choices, and now you'll live with them. That's how life works. We don't build for others. We build for ourselves, even when we think we're building for someone else. The quality of work we do, the integrity we show, the care we take, it all comes back to us eventually." Robert paused, letting his words sink in. "I learned this lesson when I was young, Marcus. My first master gave me the same test, and I failed it just as you did. I built him a shoddy chair to save money, thinking I was clever. Then he gave me that chair to sit in every day at work for the next 5 years. Every wobble reminded me of my dishonesty. Every creak taught me about integrity. It was the most valuable lesson I ever learned." Marcus stood there, staring at the keys in his hand, understanding the profound weight of what had just happened. The house that should have been his pride and joy, the symbol of his new success, was instead a monument to his greed and deception. "I can tear it down," Marcus said desperately. I can rebuild it properly. I have the money I saved. I can make this right. Robert put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. That choice is yours to make. But remember this. Every day of your life, in everything you do, you're building the house you'll have to live in. You can build it with integrity or with shortcuts. You can build it with excellence or with just enough to get by. You can build it for yourself or for show. But in the end, you're the one who has to live there. Robert walked back to his car, leaving Marcus standing in front of the house with the keys in his hand. That night, Marcus sat at his kitchen table and made a list of everything that was wrong with the house. The list covered 3 full pages. The next morning, he hired the best contractors he could find and began the long, expensive process of fixing everything he had done wrong. It took Marcus 8 months and cost him not only the $30,000 he had saved, but an additional $40,000 from his own savings. But he fixed every single problem. He replaced the pine with oak. He tore out the plastic pipes and installed copper. He redid the roof with quality materials. He corrected every shortcut he had taken. When it was finally done, Marcus had the house he should have built in the first place. But more importantly, he had learned a lesson that changed how he approached everything in his life from that day forward. Years later, Marcus became known as the most honest contractor in the region. He built houses that lasted for generations, just as Robert had. And he always told his workers the same thing Robert had told him. Build every house as if you're going to live in it yourself, because in a way, you will. The quality of your work reflects who you are, and that reputation is the house you truly live in. Marcus never forgot the empty feeling he had when Robert handed him those keys, and he never again built anything he wouldn't be proud to put his name on, because he learned that cutting corners doesn't make you clever. It just makes the corners of your life sharp and painful when you inevitably run into them. This is the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it and understood the powerful message about integrity, the quality of our work, and how our choices always come back to us. Now let's review 6 important vocabulary words we heard in this story. Listen carefully to the spelling, meaning, and examples. Vocabulary review. Number 1. Bustling. Let me spell it. B-U-S-T-L-I-N-G. Bustling. Bustling means full of activity, busy, and lively. When a place is bustling, there are many people moving around and doing things. In the story, Robert lived in a bustling city where his workshop was well known. The city was full of activity and business. Here is another example. The bustling marketplace was filled with vendors selling fruits, vegetables, and handmade goods. One more example. She loved the bustling energy of downtown, where something was always happening. Number 2. Legendary. Let me spell it. Legendary. Legendary. Legendary means very famous and admired, talked about by many people over a long time. When something is legendary, it is so remarkable that people tell stories about it. In the story, Robert's craftsmanship was legendary. Everyone knew about his excellent work and talked about how his furniture lasted for generations. Here is another example. The legendary musician had fans all over the world who loved his incredible talent. One more example. Her legendary kindness was remembered by everyone who knew her. Number 3. Protege. Let me spell it. Protege. Protege. Protege means a person who is guided and supported by an older and more experienced person. A protege learns from a mentor who teaches them skills and knowledge. In the story, Robert was proud that his protege Marcus was handling the important project. Robert had trained Marcus and thought he was ready to take over the business. Here is another example. The famous artist took on a young protege to teach everything she had learned over her career. One more example. As the professor's protege, he received valuable guidance and mentorship. Number 4. Shoddy. Let me spell it. Shoddy. Shoddy. Shoddy means badly made or done, of poor quality. When work is shoddy, it is careless and will not last long. In the story, Marcus knew the truth about the shoddy workmanship hidden behind the walls. He had done poor quality work by using cheap materials and taking shortcuts. Here is another example. The shoddy construction of the building became obvious when the walls started cracking after just 1 year. One more example. She was disappointed by the shoddy service at the restaurant and decided never to return. Number 5. Integrity. Let me spell it. Integrity. Integrity. Integrity means the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. When you have integrity, you do the right thing even when no one is watching. In the story, Robert taught Marcus that the quality of work we do and the integrity we show all comes back to us eventually. Being honest and doing good work matters, even when others cannot see it. Here is another example. She was respected by everyone because of her integrity and honesty in all her business dealings. One more example. A person with integrity keeps their promises and does what they say they will do. Number 6. Profound. Let me spell it. Profound. Profound. Profound means very deep, intense, or far-reaching in meaning or effect. When something is profound, it has great significance and makes you think deeply about life. In the story, Marcus understood the profound weight of what had just happened. He realized the deep and serious meaning of receiving a house he had built poorly for himself. Here's another example. The loss of his job had a profound impact on his confidence and sense of purpose. One more example. She shared profound wisdom about the importance of treating others with respect. Excellent work! You have learned 6 powerful vocabulary words today. These words are bustling, legendary, protege, shoddy, integrity, and profound. Practice using these words in your daily conversations and writing. Remember Marcus's lesson. The quality of work you do reflects who you are, and cutting corners only hurts yourself in the end. Always build with integrity, whether anyone is watching or not. Thank you for learning with us today. See you in the next story.